we're looking at the gambling odds for the Super Bowl this year. Who's got the best odds? Who's got the worst? Let's find out. Number one, actually we got tied for first. The Degenerates, they're really cooking on this one. They're really coming up with an original idea. Drum roll, please. Tied with plus 600 odds. We have the teams from last year's Super Bowl. The Chiefs and the Niners. Wow, really some solid analysis from the gamblers on this one. Placing plenty of bets on the two teams that made it last year. Not a bad idea, actually. They got a lot of their studs back. All their good players. They have returned. A lot of them on both sides. Well, Niners are still working on trading one of them out of there, but that's okay. So those are the top teams coming in. At number 3, wow, this one caught me off guard. It's out of left field. The team with the third best possibility of becoming a Super Bowl champion. Baltimore Ravens, they finished top 4 last year. That's where they finished last year. At plus 1,000. At plus 1,200. We have the Detroit Lions. It's just all the teams that made it into the conference championship last year. Who's doing this analysis? These are picks that I would make. I mean, this is awful stuff. Alright, finally mixing it up a little bit. At 1,300, plus 1,300 odds for the Super Bowl. In 5th place, the Philadelphia Eagles. Makes sense. I like that one. Makes sense to me. I thought they were solid last year. They just had a weird year. And then they just finished horribly. I think they bounced back. They should be fine. I like them at 5th best odds. It gets interesting. We now have a tie for 6th at 1,500 plus 1,500 odds. Let's go with the first two. I'm going to leave this other team last. Cincinnati Bengals, Buffalo Bills. Those are two of the teams. Yep, they've been up there last few years. Bengals brought a decent amount of guys back. Bills ended up trading Stephon Diggs, but they're in the hunt. They got good teams. They got good quarterbacks. Solid defenses. They are at plus 1,500. Tied with them after making an impressive run in the previous year. Houston Texans. Wow, that's crazy. I kind of get it though. They had a really nice run. They have a nice young core. Solid offense, solid defense, great QB in his rookie year. They brought over just Stephon Diggs. They got a lot of guys coming back. Crazy stuff. I think it's interesting to have them tied with the Bengals and the Bills. But as we look at these other teams, maybe it starts to make sense. So right behind those 3 teams actually, we have another 3-way tie. And these teams all being tied is kind of funny to me. The first one is the Dallas Cowboys at plus 1,800. Their odds would be a little bit higher, but they have Dak Prescott at QB, so drops them significantly. Also, CD Lamb is holding out and doesn't want to play because he needs a new contract. Jerry Jones, when you have a stud receiver, you just kind of pay them. That's how this works. We'll see what happens there. Tied with the Cowboys, we have... I love that these two teams are tied. I love it. The New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers also tied at 1,800. Oh, that's good stuff. This is good stuff. You got the Jets. They got Aaron Rodgers back. Last year was supposed to be the year. Packers, they let him go. Traded him. It was a trade. That's crazy. But Packers, same odds. They got Jordan Love. Same squad they had with Rodgers. Not same squad, but they got a bunch of new young pieces. But Jordan Love a QB. And they have the same odds as the Jets. Who, made the Hassan Reddick trade. And now they won't give him a new deal, which is why the Eagles traded him. So you thought that, maybe the Jets would trade for him and give him a deal. But now they haven't given him a deal. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's the team or if it's Hassan. We don't know. But yeah, those are the ones at 1,800. Bit of a drop-off for this next team. This is where it gets interesting. There's some weird teams up in this range. we have the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins fans, if you're listening, all 12 of you, if you're listening, last year was your year. And you didn't even win a playoff game. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. And they paid Tua a lot of money. That's brutal, man. That's brutal. Another big jump in numbers. We go to plus 2,800. We have the Atlanta Falcons. They got some interesting young pieces. They got Kirk Cousins now. Could have had another interesting young player, except they drafted a QB, but, Penix, he'll be good in 2 years when he starts, at the age of 29, but, what are you going to do? Okay, at plus 300, or not 300, sorry, plus 3,000 odds. After losing the best player they've had in maybe ever, the Los Angeles Rams are at plus 3,000 odds to win a title. They still have some nice guys on offense. But yeah, Aaron Donald, he's done. He's done. It'll be interesting to see a Rams team without him. But yeah, now that he's retired, he has plenty of time to go get in fights at bars. I'm kidding. I don't even remember. Was that him? That was him, right? Wasn't there some kind of bar scuffle? I'm sorry. It's like every other player. It's hard to keep track of who it is, but no. Yeah, Aaron Donald retired. He's done. We move on. We go to 3,500. There are two teams at 3,500 odds. These are interesting ones. One of them is the Cleveland Browns. So they, had a great run last year. But now they're back to Deshaun Watson at QB, so they're going to be a disappointment again, I assume, unless Joe Flacco, he signed somewhere else, right? He's not even on the Browns, right? Somebody else got to look at him. I don't even know, but the Browns still have that really good defense. If Deshaun Watson returns to his old ways, there will be another lawsuit, but he might also play good football, so yeah. Also at 3,500, interesting one. The Chicago Bears just got a rookie QB, although he's a very good QB. He's one of the very good ones. Coming out of USC, Caleb Williams, they got a lot of weapons. The defense, not too bad. They got some studs over there. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think this is their year. I think next year they can do a Texans-type run. But yeah, we'll see what they do. There's for sure an interesting team. Just a lot of weapons. But at plus 4,000, the Los Angeles Chargers. That feels a bit too. That number's got to go up. This is a bit too low. That number's got to go up. That's a rookie number right there. I'm not sure who Justin Herbert lost all the weapons that he's had for the last few years. Eckler's gone. Keenan's gone. Even Mike Williams is gone. All right, what's he supposed to do? They got him at tackle. This is not their year. This is a rebuild year. They also have a new head coach. But anybody's better than Staley, right? Right. Moving on to 4,500. This team, I feel like this team should be a little bit higher, but I'm not too crazy about them, so I don't really care that they're this low. But at 4,500, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just paid Trevor Lawrence a lot of money because of what he did his freshman year at Clemson. Pretty much. He's been solid, though. He's been solid. We'll see. We'll see what happens with them. Interesting pick, but this one is surprising. I feel like the Steelers at plus 5,000. I don't think they're contenders, but this is a little low. I mean, this is a little disrespectful. I don't know. Mike Tomlin, he always gets the Steelers to the playoffs. They can have Mason Rudolph in concussion protocol starting for them, and he can still get them to the playoffs. So, I don't know. Interesting one, though. And then 5,500, Seattle Seahawks. They're also tied with the Colts. Sounds about right. That Seahawks rebuild. They need a new QB. They don't even have Drew Lock anymore. But, I mean, Geno Smith, he's going to hold down the fort, but just going to keep them middle of the pack probably. But maybe they make a playoff push. I don't know. Who knows? But Colts, another rebuilding year for them, unless Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson just go off. Not sure how their defense will be this year, but moving on, 6,500 odds. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, nobody believes in Baker Mayfield. That's how he likes it. Give him plus 6,500 odds, and he'll prove to you that that number should be a little bit lower. Not too low, but just a little bit lower than that. Arizona Cardinals are at 8,000, along with the Vikings. Cardinals still trying to rebuild. Kyler Murray back for a full season though. The Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, I guess, just got injured. Something wrong with his knee. But Sam Darnold looks like he'll be at the helm for the year. I really don't think the Vikings will be this bad. This is actually a little surprising to me. I think Kevin O'Connell, he'll do a decent job. Plus 8,000. I mean, for Super Bowl odds, yeah. I don't think their odds are great, but they got so many studs. Not sure how the defense is. I feel like they're a little thin on defense, but they got so many weapons. Just, we'll see what they can do. I just feel like they don't belong with some of these teams that are down here, like the team right behind them with 10,000 plus 10,000 odds, the Saints. And then tied with them, the Raiders. I don't think the Vikings are as bad as those teams. The Saints are in cap hell. They have been voiding cap space into the future for what seems like a century. But it's really only just been a decade. The Raiders need a QB. They drafted Michael Mayer last year. Supposed to be a really good tight end. He was okay. They decided to copy that strategy this year, get Powers, so we'll see how that works out for them, Chief. Commanders, plus 12,000 odds. I feel like that number should be a little bit higher. I feel like it should be with the teams below them, which are the Titans at 15,000, the Giants at 15,000. The Commanders should be right with them. I don't know how they aren't. But yeah, Titans, Giants at 15,000 sounds about right. Titans are, well, they're pretty much using this year to see if Will Levis is okay. And then they're going to build off of that. Giants are hoping that Daniel Jones is either worth his money or not worth his money at all, so they can get a high draft pick. The Patriots, probably going to see Brissett. Patriots are at 25,000, plus 25,000 odds. Going to see Brissett for most of the year. Drake May will probably play at the end, so another rebuild year for them. Broncos, plus 25,000, rebuild year for them. They got Bo Nix, though, possibly the QB of the future. And then the Carolina Panthers at plus 30,000 odds. Yeah, that sounds about right. They're probably going to get another top pick next year, except they're giving away their second rounder next year as well. What a trade that was for the Bears. But hey, the Bears, they gave up a second for Chase Claypool. I guess that gave them good karma. And the Panthers traded away their two best players, and this is the result. This is the result. But yeah, then they wanted to move up to first and get a top pick. But yeah, is what it is. So yeah, what do you guys think of the odds? I feel like they're okay. I don't know. Doesn't feel like there's a ton of contenders this year. I'm worried about the Bengals. I'm worried about the Bills. The Cowboys, they're going to be the same as they always are. The Jets and Packers, I don't know if they're threatening enough yet. I'm really looking at kind of those top five teams. Chiefs, Niners, Ravens, Lions, Eagles. I think those are the contenders. Texans are a sneaky one. But other than that, that's probably it. So that'll be it for this video. We are running out of daylight. That is okay, though. It's actually, in a way, it's a little bit better for these. It's a little bit better for these videos. So, you already know how it is. In fact, most of the so-called daylight we have right now, from the laptop, it's from the laptop. So there is basically no daylight, and there is also no ending to this video. It's just going to continue on and on. It's not going to end. Just one continuous video. Upcoming next 8 hours of ASMR. No, I'm just kidding. 8-hour ASMR live stream, followed by a 24-hour live stream. No, that's okay. I'm gonna have to pass on those, but I said about the ending of this video, well,